feel bad for judging Scarbone's appearance, because, well, it can't see. But despite its blindness, Scarbone's evolutions are well designed. Its skin doesn't entirely cover its body, and its bones just sticking out is kind of weird, but it's more implied that it's more armor and there's still skin underneath. Goldra is more fleshed out, but it's also still basic. Giving it more dog aspects to its already lizard design, it gives it a bit of character as well. It also just looks super good, especially that its bones become more focused and less random on its body. Also, rip that one that got eyes drawn on it. Doesn't seem to enjoy that. Skeletops is where the design peaks. Despite giving the impression that Skuldra would be the final evolution, I'm glad we got Skeletop. It becomes not just bigger, but slimmer and slicker, which also makes it look faster and stronger. Also, as well, giving it a more intimidating look despite it not having eyes. Overall, this line is super cool. 9 out of 10. I wonder heavily what was going on in the mind of the creator of Drupal. I mean, the idea of a ghost dripping goo everywhere isn't new, but it just looks funny and more like a water type than a ghost type. Now, when it evolves, it becomes Mudma, big slimy monster that grows a nice mustache. Kinda reminds me of some. But anyways, this line is cool overall. I think that going from a ball to a monster is kind of a big conversion, but overall it works because goo can become anything. So 6 out of 10. Arcta is just a snowball of ice spikes protruding from the body. That's it. Like, not even its biology offers anything more about it, which makes it very plain and simple design. Its evolution Arctos is a bit more complex, but still fairly basic. It's kind of just an elongated Arcta, but now it's two-sided ice crystals to it. But for its simplicity, I still like the design. The idea of just an ice crystal that can now move and attack honestly is best to keep it as simple as possible. So with that, 7 out of 10. I have no idea what culture or species Seraphase is supposed to be based off of, and even though it says it in some biology on the website, I refuse to do any research to figure out what Seraphim or Cherubim is. Seraphase is definitely a unique creation, though the mask looking like one of those old century doctor's masks, but combined with an owl gives me the creeps. Its evolution Grimace definitely adds to the eerie creepiness that Seraphase gives off by literally becoming something of a nightmare. Because this line does such a good job at being ugly, weird, and creepy, I just can't give it a lower score though. I desperately want to. Squidma is boring. Yeah, the idea of a fire squid is sick, but the fiery aspect of this Coromon sucks. It just gets a little red outline on its head identifying its fire type, and that's it. It's boring. Magmelius tries to do a little bit more with the fire, but still it's not much. It now becomes more Kraken-like and it decided to bejewel itself. I really still think this is just a water type. 3 out of 10. I like the concept of Lumon. It's a firefly that acts more like a crystal in a cave. At least that's what I get when I look at it. It also does a good job fitting the concept, looking like a crystal, but having a bug characteristic to it. Vampire develops the bug characteristic even more, gaining the elytra that bugs usually have, and becoming more bouncy and is flying, which looks pretty good. Luminesect is where things get funky. It keeps its face and upper half. For some reason, its bottom half becomes detached, but attached and constantly spinning. It's so weird, but I like it a lot. Though the wings don't look attached to the body at all, which bothers me a lot. But overall, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I think Patterbit is a fun design. Being a cyberpunk bug with a propeller instead of wings, it's just goofy. It reminds me of one of those spinny hats. Cyberbite in its evolutions is an actual upgrade. It grows a lot bigger and the propeller is now replaced with a jetpack, which makes it more serious and less goofy. The next upgrade, Cyberbite, is even cooler. This version finally gets a big update and becomes quite big. Even the thrusters look more powerful to hold it together. I think it does a great job bringing a combination of smarts and brawn. 8.5 out of 10. Cyberbite is a worm that evolves into a centipede, that evolves into a millipede. And that's pretty fun. 7 out of 10. Tadpole is such a strange Quorumon. Since frogs are quite a popular animal used in Pokemon, I wonder how it would differ for Coromon. And honestly, it kind of takes it from all 3 frog Pokemon lines and kind of makes it its own line inspired by those. Paddle itself resembles Poliwag minus the swirl and giving a more clean glare to it. Bibio looks inspired by Frogadier, but has its own poison effect to it. And the final form, Chonktoad, though it's a stretch, kind of looks like Seismitoad in a way. So it definitely is a unique line. I just get reminded of Pokemon way too much with it. I also think that the change is just random. Like, Alotafibio is great, but then why does it become fat and lazy on Chonktoad? I don't know, just doesn't make sense to me. 6.5 out of 10. Can't believe another crab Coromon already exists with Tin Shell. Well, I guess this guy is more of a hermit crab, so different enough. Anyways, this guy is cute. Reminds me of my pet hermit crab as a kid. Forgot its name though, to be honest. When Tin Shell evolves into Dunpod, it becomes even cooler. Growing a kind of sand cannon as a shell is also a cool aspect to it, but the rest of it is just in a large tin shell. Sandro is kind of disappointing. I would hope more of it to come from the canning aspect of Dunsball, but instead the shell is just a normal shell and grows more armor on its limb, or my shield, which highly disappoints me. 6 out of 10. Blizzbird is just an angry little fellow, I think. The crystal on its beak is big, but also a good size for its design, though overall, I don't really care much for it. When it evolves into Blizzian, it definitely improves, though I'm not sure what kind of bird inspired it. I do like the idea of giving it ice feathers though, particularly it shouldn't be able to fly with them. 6 out of 10. I like Perky's design a lot. I may be biased because I'm a cat person, but the cute little cat face on Ghost with like robe-like arms is just adorable. Inks takes the cuteness out of Perky a little and gives a little more tough look and a more lion-formed face, also allowing the body to grow out more and giving it a tail which makes me like it a little bit more. Berghast takes it a big turn, completely changing the color scheme and giving it a more wizard and monk look, along with the big cat features, which works together way more than it should. I know I made fun of this line in a Lunar Pup review, but honestly, I like it just as much. 10 out of 10. Brad's line reminds me of that Goob monster from Scooby-Doo 2, and honestly, I absolutely love it. It just looks a way cooler version of Grimer, and the potent form being a nice green color really makes me like the line more. Magnemire just enhanced everything on God's slime, making it bigger, uglier, and growing even more arms. It's just so cool to me. 9.5 out of 10. You cannot convince me that the Quegu line wasn't just a copy of the Swamp People in Avatar: The Last Airbender. It literally says in its database entry that its body is hidden underneath all that goo and moss, which is literally what they do with the seaweed in the show. Swampa literally just makes it even closer to resembling this. How their arms are being used to attack and defend like the Swamp People do. This is literally just Benders acting as Coromon. 8.5 out of 10. I was going to give Squidly a nice review until I read its wiki page. This thing's a joke, right? Like the bio, you say it's an octopus, but the name suggests a squid, but it's actually neither because it only has 3 tentacles. Also, its data entry is so weird. It will scare people by tickling them in the face as they sleep. What the heck is that? That is not just scary, but utterly mortifying. Octoctyle doesn't help either. Have an 8 in the name, but only have 5 limbs. And now it just straight up feeds on people's depression. I can't wait these squids, Coromon. 2 out of 10. Ruptius is somehow adorable. It's like a picky eating kid that just gets angry when it doesn't get the food it wants. And that just kind of reminds me of, well, me. The idea of it being a volcano, but disguised as a house with a chimney is a good mix as well. Bulbrute is a massive upgrade. Literally, the thing gets huge. I love that it becomes a docile giant that only erupts when startled, which is a scary thought because you don't really want to scare it then. But yeah, it's a cool line. 7 out of 10. The slippery, slimy, coarse sand Mooby is a cool Coromon. Just being like a little sand finger that just kind of wiggles around and struggles to exist with itself. And then it evolves in the Molbash when it gains a bit more control with a little bit more rocks into it. And arms. So it's still just falling into the ground and needs one more upgrade. Luckily, Malbite does exactly that by giving it legs. And those oozes, it's definitely a cool looking golem dude. 8.5 out of 10. I'm glad they didn't just fully make Flowish and Magikarp clone. Being based off a goldfish and a betta fish, I think, is a cool design that I like. Though there's more lore to it and why it evolves in Darkara, so I could have just missed something in the game. It is weird to me though that it just gains arms, legs, and a cape without any real explanation as to why that would happen. I do however like the kind of burglar but hero aesthetic it tends to give off. 8 out of 10. Despite Mino being able to be caught super early in the game, it's for some reason number 98 in the database. Why? Who knows? But anyways, Mino is a buff little calf with a fiery attitude that is just great. Evolving into Blazator is a great evolution as well. The glowing horns and fiery back and tail really give it a more angry bull look. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, the angry bull going on fire thing is just very generic to me. I do think it's well done, but it's just nothing special to me. 6.5 out of 10. The Prova line is a classic bug line. Being a caterpillar to cocoon to full form bug. Prova is cute. I like that it isn't just small and cute though, and does look like it can fight. Proshell is just a cocoon to be fair, but it's a cool looking one, so I'll give him that. Flaremoth is the final evolution, and it's a big glow up. It looks quite large for a final bug evolution, but I like it. I also like that kind of resembles a moth and yeti combination, at least with the face and the big fur or whatever it's around his neck. This line is just pretty cool. 7 out of 10. Otagu is even creepier when we know that the masks aren't hiding his face, but it's actually his hands, and the 2 necks are actually arms. This thing is just super weird and creepy, but for that I actually like it quite a bit. Orotaki is even stranger. Might just be me, but its growth in limbs and change in movement in the sprite almost makes it more puppy-like, and for that I find it terrifyingly cute, which also just makes me feel off. This line is certainly unique. 8 out of 10. Ah, another turtle Coromon with Shimshell. But this time, it's a sea turtle. I think this guy is awesome, though it is kind of just a bedazzled turtle to be fair. That lantern just makes it better. The gems on its back are more defined, and overall, it just looks more like a mature creature ready for battle. I also like the turquoise coloring on the potent form, though I would have liked to see a green one for the perfect form. 9.5 out of 10. Time to speedrun the Titans. Folklore is Mr. Electric from Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but with a smaller head. 7 out of 10. Illusion has tentacle arms. Why? 6 out of 10. Sandman and Machamp makes Sart. 6.5 out of 10. Jose gives me major Persona vibes, though I've never played Persona. 8.5 out of 10. Forest is a cool ice robot. 8 out of 10. Xiaoqiu is like a whirlpool bubble dude. I like it. 7.5 out of 10. And that is all the Quorumon for now. Stop right there. I have to tell you about one of, if not the greatest Quorumon of all time. It is so great that you can't even use it in battle. A boss so powerful, it refuses to be caught. Of course I am talking about the Fuse Box. Now yes, this is a real Coromon. It may not be in the database, but it has a potent and perfect form, and of course a skill and a trait along with it. So that's enough proof for me. This sleek design with the buttons and warning symbol make it so nice to look at. The lack of a face brings fear to anyone that comes in his path. This is truly peak Coromon design, so with that, I give it a 734 out of 10.